Happy Saturday, everybody. It's new project day, and I can't wait to get started. I hope you'll watch. Hi, Tammy here from Frou-frou Studio, and we are going to start a new project today, and I'm really excited about this one. So I'll hope you will hang around and see what we're going to do, and hopefully it'll turn out like what I think I want it to in my mind. Sometimes that doesn't work, but we're going to give it a shot. So since it is back to school time, I am going to do a cute little 3-ring journal, kind of back to school inspired. I'm sure you've heard me say before that my daughter is a teacher, and then I also have 3 grandkids that are in school, and they have just started back, and so I thought this would be kind of a cute little journal to do to kind of celebrate the end of summer and back to school. It's not quite fall yet, although I'm really ready for it. So I thought this was a good transitional journal to go between, what we do in the fall, Halloween, harvest, Thanksgiving kind of journals. I thought this would be a good one to kind of end the summer. So this is what I've done so far. I have these vintage mathematical flashcards, and they are long. Let me take this out for the time being. Well, no, I don't want to do that because then I'm going to have little cards everywhere. So we'll do it this way. I'll flip back to one. Here's one on the back. They're long and skinny, and they are very vintage, and I thought they were just adorable. So I got these off Etsy, and I will put the vendor in my description box. And I actually got enough to make 2 journals, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to scrape together enough stuff to make 2 that'll be similar. They won't be the same, but they'll be similar. So I have several of those in here. And then I have a library card with a pocket. I have a couple of these are vintage, like index card dividers. You know, they're very heavy, and then they have numbers up on the little tabs already. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then I have these vocabulary flashcards that I got at a thrift store, and they are not vintage, and so I had to grungy them up so they wouldn't be so bright and new looking. And what I did for that is I put white gesso over them, and then I put antique linen oxide on them, and then I put the vintage photo around the edges, and just to give them, and all of these cards have been coffee stained, or coffee dyed, sprayed with a coffee spritzer. So that's why you see the little spots everywhere. And then everything has been bagged with tea-dyed paper so that you have journaling spots on the back of all the different cards. I put some just number 8 heavy duty tags in here. This is another set of flashcards that I had. These are not as old, although they're still older than the ones that are now. They have a nice matte flat surface that are not that shiny kind of slick surface to them. Again, just spritzed with the coffee and did the edges, and then backed with the paper. And then I just kind of alternated the different pieces till I got you know, what I felt like was a good number of each of them to go in here. And you can see some I punched holes in the tops and some I punched holes in the bottoms so that I'd have things at different levels in the little journal. So, and then on the front, this is and I know that's clanking on this glass. Sorry, I should have put something down to quieten that. This is a Tim Holtz clip. And I just have glued it on there so far, but there are holes at the top, and I am going to put a couple of brads in there just to give it a finished look. So, and after I got everything all put together, my holes punched and so forth, and I am going to put reinforcers on all of the pages. I have not gotten that far yet. But I will reinforce them just because I like the look. I mean, these are plenty thick enough that I don't think anything's going to happen. But I like the look of that. In this particular one, I backed with a piece of Tim Holtz paper that has multiplication tables on the back of it. And I can't remember what set this is for, but again, I will look it up and put it in the description box. So then I pulled out my little project folder and I started gathering things that I thought would work in this journal. What we're going to do today is we're going to work on the front. So that's this stuff. So I'm going to move it to the side. But these are actual photos that I took of vintage tins that I own. There's a paint tin, and this is for pencils and crayons, and I just shrunk them down. And I did do them in black and white because I want the color to be very neutral in this. We are going to use red as an accent color, but it's going to be very minimal, so most things will have a very neutral palette. So I have those. This is a photocopy of a actual report card that I found at a antique store, and I didn't want to use my original, so I made a photocopy. So we're gonna put that together and probably use that somewhere. This is from Tim Holtz. It's one of the thicker cards, and I just took the front off because I didn't want that thickness. It's one of the baseboard cards. This is also Tim Holtz. This is actually my report card from the 3rd grade, and I just ran a photocopy of that, and I thought we could tear that up and use some of that. These pages are from a handwriting book that I got at a thrift store, and so we'll probably use pieces of that somewhere. Again, this is Tim Holtz. This is a receipt that I think I must have accidentally put in there when I pulled something else out because it's a medical receipt. So we won't use that probably. I pulled out some paper dolls that I thought looked like kids dressed for school, or, you know, having their picture taken in school. So we're going to use those. I pulled out a couple of these frames, which I don't know, we may or may not use. I've got some little scraps of fabric and stuff. Again, this is one of those baseboards from Tim Holtz that looks like a book cover, and again, I peeled it off, so it's just the top layer. This is a little specimen thing with some of the, it's actually a $50 coin collector folder, and I put a transparent set of wings in it, and it kind of looks like a science slide, in my opinion. Maybe it doesn't, but that was what I was going for, so we might use that. This is a free download I found online. It's advertisement for a spelling bee. These are also free online. If you search ABC cards, these will come up. And I thought they were really cute and vintage looking, and I just printed a few of those. This is a bus ticket, and it does have the word school right there. And actually, it's a railroad ticket. So I guess at some point, people actually took the railroad. Oh, it's a street railway in California. So I guess it's like a streetcar. So I thought that was kind of neat. This is another, actually several of these are Tim Holtz, just scrap pieces of paper that were kind of school related. This one says lessons on it, alphabet, and so we might use some of those. These are from a, it's actually a book that I got on speed writing, but I thought the handwriting looked really cool in that, and so we might tear some of that off. And this was a free printable off the internet. Again, that looks like a report card. I've got some maps. These are just little number flashcards that are, I believe these are Tim Holtz actually as well. And I know these little cards are just happy word cards. So we might use some of those. This was free as well. It's just a certificate of achievement. And here's another library card. And this one is Tim Holtz, and it's advertised as a photographer. And this is another one of those public school ones. Got a couple more little fabric scraps, another frame. I've got this. Somebody sent me this in Happy Mail, and so I'm not sure if this is Tim Holtz or somebody else, but it's the alphabet and numbers, which we may or may not use. I've got some milk caps, which I already have one of those picked out for the cover, but milk like that just reminds me of school, you know, having cartons of milk. And of course, these were off bottles, and we didn't have bottles, we had cartons. Then I've got this little just piece of a ruler. And then I have some photos that I thought looked like school photos. And then I have this school photo, and this young man is my father. It's his actual school photo, copy of. It actually came in this little foldy up fancy little thing, and I just ran a photocopy of it because I thought that was kind of fun, that is an actual school folder. And then I found this guy at a antique store. I think he was about $1, but this is an actual photo, and I think that is just the face of little boys going back to school, is it not? I mean, he just looks miserable. So if I do have enough to make 2, I think this young man is going to go on the cover of the second one. And so that brings us to the cover of this one. Oh, one more thing before I do that. I want to show you what books I'm going to use. Okay, I went through and I pulled out, sorry for my reach, all of my little primers and things like that. And so I have several children's reading books. So I think we're going to pull some stuff out of that. And you can see most of mine are really grungy. And so I think they're going to work really well. And that's why I went with the more grungy on the flashcards and stuff. But I like that look. A lot of people don't. Then we have this one, and I have used a lot of this one in the past, but there are some still good photos in here, and of course lots of good print. There's this one, which is a music book, children's music book. There is this one, and this one is actually a little bit older, and it's stories for older children, but it has some really cool print in it, as well as a couple of photos here and there. But really I like this one because the pages, they're really smooth, and also the subject matter. This one's the Pied Piper, and just stuff like that. So we'll probably pull something out of that. Then I have this one, and this is a Sally, Dick, and Jane. So we'll definitely probably use something out of there. Here's another children's songbook that has a lot of kids songs in there. When kids, well, I guess they still take music. I just don't know that it has the importance that it did back when we were in school. And then last but not least, this is a elementary dictionary, and I love this book. I love the size of the font in here. I love the little illustrations that it has by the pictures. So I was real excited to find this. I've had this one a little while. I haven't used a whole lot of it. There's a camel. And so I thought we could use some stuff out of this for sure. Now, that's all. Now we're going to work on what we're going to do for the front. And so my idea for these is when we go through, I'm going to do some collaging on them, but I don't want to take away from the fact that they're flashcards. And so these will have less, and then of course the ones that are, you know, like this will have more on them. And this is, you know, these kind of cards are probably where we're going to put some of those photos and things like that. But I don't want to, when I'm embellishing this, lose the fact of what they were originally. And we're going to do, like I said, the back of all of these have journaling spots, but we're also going to do some little pockets and tucks where we can put in some other things to journal on. So that's the plan anyway. And then these rings, I'm not worried about coloring these rings. Normally I would color them, which I don't know if you guys are aware, but you can color these with Ranger alcohol inks. You just put them in, like I use like a plastic red Solo cup, and I put them down in there and I put ink on them and then swish them around and then dump them out and let them dry, and it will change their color. I'm not worried about that for this because my intent is, when we get everything done, is to take this red ticking, and I've got some just little scrap pieces like this, and I'm going to take the red ticking and the little scrap muslin pieces, and I'm going to tie them around. And so the rings aren't really going to show, and so I didn't worry about coloring it. And then I'm undecided on this. I'm undecided whether to leave it this way or to rust it up a little bit, and I'm going to make that decision, I think, at the end. I do have like a rub-on rust. Really it's just like a paint that has like a grit in it, I think, but when you put it on and it dries, it looks like rust. So I'm gonna hold off on that till the very end to decide if that's what I want to do. So that's our project, and I hope that it will be something that you guys will enjoy watching as we go through it. And so what I want to do first is I want to make, I call it my cover page, but it's really not going to cover the whole page. What I did is I took this is a vintage index card that was already this nice yellowy color. And I have inked the edges with, actually I think I used ground espresso on these edges because I wanted something a little bit darker than a tea dye. And then I just stamped it. I went through my Tim Holtz stamps and I picked out anything that had letters or numbers or whatever. There's a ruler here. And I just randomly stamped it to kind of give me a background. And then I have a stamp that I am not sure who that is by, and I do not keep my stamps on the original, in the original package, but it's just a zigzag stitch stamp because, as everybody knows, I don't sew. And I used a red and just made it look like it's been zigzag stitched around the edge. And you can see this is a really old card. And then I put the hole enforcers, and it's going to set down toward the bottom like this when it's on. Okay. Then I found this guy on Etsy. He's a digital download, and again I will put the name of the shop in the description box because I can't think of it right now, and I want to be sure and tell you the right place. But he is holding a report card. I don't know if you can see that or not. And I thought that was just the cutest little guy, and you can tell that he is just in deep thought about what's going to happen when that report card goes to his parents. And so I'm going to put him on the cover, and then I found this quote, "Imperfections make life interesting." And I thought that was perfect. So that is going to go, I don't think it's going to go on the cover. I think it's going to go on this next page, which is going to show, and actually it may be up here, which is going to show, but not actually be on here because we're already going to be pretty busy on here. So I've pulled out a couple pieces of lace, which I'm going to put down the sides of this guy. So he's going to sit like that. Pull that out just a little bit. And then I have, this is Tim Holtz. He had these little packs, if you've not seen these, he had these little packs of fabric that have just like stitching on them. If that's not cheating, I don't know what is. Anything to get me out of sewing. So I have pulled one that has red on it, and I'm going to trim it down just a tad. And the reason I'm using the red is because I want to use the red ticking on the little, oh my gosh, the little loops over here. Can't think of the correct name for them right now. And so that's why I'm using the red accents, in case you're wondering. And I'm going to ink this up just a tad, but I'm going to use the antique linen because I don't want it to be really dark, but I want it to have something on this little phrase that I just made. I'm going to put that there, and then I have one of the bottle caps that I have inked up, and as you can see again, I'm picking the red up there, and I've got to be careful where I position that because I've got my hole right here, so I've got to make sure that I've got room so that it will flip over when we're doing our flipping our pages. And then I have a little bitty doily I'm going to use. And then I have a couple of little scrappy lacy pieces. I went through this week and have been trying to organize all my little, I have a lot, even though I don't sew, I have a lot of vintage fabrics and lace, and I love vintage linens, and so I've gone through and tried to organize those, and I am going to try to use them more. And I will actually show you something that I did for that I'm working on for a cover for a different journal, that where I've incorporated some of those things so you can see kind of where I'm going. Okay, so I'm thinking that is going to be kind of what our cover looks like. So let's see if we can't get this glued up. I'm going to use fabric tack for most of this since we are using the fabrics. And I'm actually going to scoot that over just a tad because I just want a little bit of it showing, and I just want a little bit of it showing over here. So you can see all that stamping that I did, really most of it is covered up, so I probably could have got by with just stamping around the edges, but I wasn't sure exactly what when I did this, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do around the edges, so that's why I went ahead and did the whole thing. And you know, you wouldn't have to do the lace. You could do it just on the card if you wanted to. But I want to try to use some lace throughout this just to kind of soften it up a little bit. And I really like the thought of grunge and lace and fabrics together, and I don't know why, but I do. So we're going to glue this on. Make sure before it sets too much that I have it where I want it. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. It is going to be hot here today again, but it is also supposed to rain. I think we're going to get some weather from Fred. So my husband's out cutting the grass and trying to get that done before it starts. I don't know why I went way up there with the glue, like that piece of lace was going to cover the whole thing, because it's not. Sorry, this is my first video this week. My husband's been on vacation, and I've kind of been in. I normally make my during the week videos when he's still at work, and he's been home when I've gotten home, and so just been kind of coming home and chilling with him, and haven't really gotten anything made this week. I think what I'm going to do is to kind of even it up so that we have an even surface going across the top of this, where it's going to set on top of that lace, is I'm going to put some foam tape kind of off the edge. Let me make sure I'm getting the right edge. Oops, not upside down. Off the edge and in the middle, so that it's kind of at that same level as the lace, and also to give it just a little bit of a layered area, because you know I am about my layers. Let's see if that'll work. If I can get the backs off now. Oh, of course that was going way too good. There we go. Yeah, we've just been kind of hanging and watching some movies in the evenings and stuff like that. So I've been a slacker this week. But now I've got to play catch up so that I can get some stuff listed in my shop and get my fall stuff listed, made and listed. Like I have something to list right now, fall wise or Halloween wise. I don't. But I've got to get busy because I do zipper tags for Halloween. I don't like cutesy Halloween, but I do like Edgar Allan Poe and some kind of creepy that way. All right, and then we're gonna take our little piece right here, put it about right there, I think. I don't know which side of that I like better. I don't guess it matters. It looks about the same on both. I just want that to kind of look like a patch on the edge. If that makes sense. And I'm almost out of this little vintage lace, and I hate it. I got this at a antique store in Charleston. It's just almost gone. I've tried to use little bitty pieces here and there to make it last as long as I can, but almost gone through them all now. And let's put our milk top on there. These are Tim's little milk tops. And our little doily. And I don't know if it's right to call this a doily. This is actually from a bigger piece that I cut up that had all these little doily looking pieces in it, and I cut them up so I could use them separately. I look for stuff that is damaged or stained so that I can cut them up and use pieces of it. And put our button there for a little extra bit. All right, and I'm gonna clamp that for a minute. Until it dries. Okay, so there's that. And now let's put our little report card together. Like I said, this is one that I found at a antique store here locally, and I just ran a photocopy of it, and I ran it, you can see it's front and back. I was trying to find a year, and I couldn't find a year on it anywhere other than, you know, he was being promoted to the 3rd grade. Billy Joe was. But I couldn't find like a year. But I thought it was really interesting, the subjects that were on here. You've got like your regular subjects, but then you have like forestry, science and nature study, Tennessee history. And so I thought that was interesting. And then over here, it actually has where they keep up with your age, height, weight, your eyes, your ears, your nutrition, your oral hygiene. I thought that was kind of funny. And then down here's your vaccinations. And then over here is what diseases you've had. I guess they're supposed to mark if you've had those diseases. So I thought that was kind of funny looking at that and reading that. But this is Greene County Public Schools in Greenville, Tennessee. And Greenville is very rural. And it is probably about an hour and a half from where I live. And like I said, I found it at a local antique store. And I'm just using glue stick to glue the front and back together. Oh, I hope I did that. I did. I had a slight panic that I was gonna do that upside down, but it's okay. Okay, so I didn't exactly cut them even, but that's okay. We can make up for that. I'm gonna take my little smushy here. I don't know if you all have one of these with your glass mats. If you have a Tim Holtz glass mat, it's made to scrape the, like the glue crusties when you clean it, which works very well, by the way. Like right there, it will scrape the crusties off. But it makes an excellent tool for smushing your glue around. So, but yeah, this Billy Joe here, which I'm assuming is a boy because it is Y, I think. Yes, it is a Y. Made very good grades. So obviously he is not this little boy that's sitting on the steps dreading the report card day. So, trim that up. And we'll fold it. And we'll have to trim it again because that is some bad cutting I did. No, maybe not. Maybe we can get it in the fold and it'll be alright. Okay. Yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to reuse the original one of these. And my thought was that if I did want to make another one, I would definitely like to use this piece again. So we went for the photocopy. Sink it up a little bit so my terrible cutting doesn't show as bad. And what we could do actually, and we may do depending on how much writing space we end up with, you could very easily make a little signature out of some tea dyed paper, coffee dyed paper, and sew it in here and make, you know, a little tiny journal. Actually, that would be really cute. We may do that. And, you know, slide it in the pocket, and then they would have another space to journal. That would be cute. Okay, and then again, this is the photocopy of the envelope that I very gingerly took apart, and you can see where that white space is, that there were a couple of couple of places that I couldn't get it to open without ripping just a tad. So, but I'm okay with that because most of that's going to be covered up, and I'm just going to hit it with some tea dye. Here's just so it doesn't look so white. And then I mounted it on just a really light craft stock paper, just to give it, because I printed it on just regular coffee paper. I'm going to glue this. I'm using art glitter glue to glue this shut since it is a little thicker. And we'll do this. And what did I do with that little... I'm making a mess on my desk today. It's okay. Whoops. Made that. Come unglued there. Okay. Alright, so there's our folder. Let's put some... Another thing I thought that was interesting is, I guess they asked for donations to have the report card covers printed, and this one is by Parks Belt Company. It says this report card cover furnished by Parks Belt Company, Greenville, Tennessee, and it says Greene County's leading department store. So the local department store bought all these little cards for the report card carriers, which that's kind of cool. So see, that's as good as the original, and I still have my original, so I'm happy with that. And I think I will at some point make a little signature and put in here, because that would be just cute in my mind too, to have that little journal inside there that you can journal on. So there we go. And then as far as putting it in, it is going to be one of the wider pieces. I don't think there's enough room to put holes in it. So I think what I'm going to do is find a spot and just clip it in. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do, is I'll find a spot and clip it. I would like for it to have enough room to do the holes, but I don't think, because then it would come in a lot more. But I think the card is too wide, and I don't have any room to really tear it down any. So yeah, I think I will just clip it with a tiny paper clip or something like that. And I'll do it in such a way that it's not sticking out, or it's sticking out the minimum amount. So that's that piece. So this should be dry now. And it is. And so let's put this on. So we can see where we want to put our this. We can either put it down here, or we can put it up here. I'd be all right with it either way, actually. And actually, I can make it look like it's clipped under there, but actually, wait, I may not make that decision yet. I like it though. I think that's going to be really adorable. And I don't think I want it on there unless I did it up here, because I can make it a little narrower. Actually, I don't mind that. What do you guys think? I may leave it there and let it see if it grows on me or not. I'm gonna put a little paper clip on it. Because I can make that a little more narrow. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay, I think we're going to stop there for now. And so this will be our ongoing project until we get this one finished. But I did want to show you what I have done, or what I have started since I got all my fabrics together. Ta-da! Look at me! This is going to be a journal cover. Again, this is going to be a 3-ring cover. I'm going to do about 3 or 4 of these ring covers, I think, because I really like them. And I just have some ideas in my head that I want to kind of get off my mind. So this is a actual book cover of a vintage book. And it had this really nice patina already to it. This is the back. You can see it's nice and grungy and worn. And so I wanted to do something with a denim pocket on it. I don't know why. It just came to me, and I thought it would be really cute on the cover of a journal. The pocket is still functional. And so I went to the thrift store and bought a pair of little kids' blue jeans, and took the pocket off because I thought that would be a good size, better than an adult pocket. And then I went through all my little bits and baubles of little vintage pieces that I had, and found some pieces that I thought worked together, and took a piece of... I actually have a couple I'm working on, but this is a pillowcase, a vintage pillowcase, and this is what I'm starting with. Is I'm taking this piece of vintage pillowcase, and I'm laying out the fabrics and that I want to use, the lace pieces and the fabrics and everything that I want to use. And once I get them laid out, I am gluing them down because, like I said, I don't sew. But then I'm going back in after that, after I have them all glued down, and I am adding some stitching, as you can see. Stitched, I did that. I sewed these buttons on. There is a stitch across there, but the thread is the same color, so you can't really see it. And then I did stitch down the corners of this. And so hand stitching I can do okay. It's the machine stitching that really gets on my nerves. So, and then these are stitched on, and then I stitch these little pearls on, these little beads. So, that I'm going to do, I want to do several of these because I do have the best collection of fabrics that are cutter quilts. They're from old feedstock aprons. They're from old, you know, table runners, and which is what this is from was one of those old crochet table runners. I've got some pieces that have embroidery on them, and so I want to use those. And oh, look, and I also embroidered the antennae of the butterfly. So anyway, it takes me forever, but that's okay. So this will be the first one that I do, and then I have started another one that is going to be kind of mixed media. This one has some appliques, I guess is what you call those, like that are on wedding dresses or whatever. Somebody happy mailed me this one, and I kind of cut it apart and put part of it behind her hair. This is actually some flowers that's on a big roll that's like lace, and I cut one of them off. I've got some vintage lace pieces. I've got some of my fabrics on here. A lot of my fabrics that aren't vintage are from when I did furniture, and so there are a lot of pattern pieces that would have been used to cover chairs and stuff like that. So they're interesting, and I think they'll be interesting put together like this. And so, as you can see, this one hasn't been, not intentionally, glued down. And so you can see that it just started with, you know, the piece of the pillowcase. And then I went in and glued everything down. I have not stitched this one yet. My intention is to stitch, you know, down the sides here and here to kind of give it some character. And then these are, I think I mentioned these in the last video. These are those little buttons that I found at Joann's that look like corner pieces. And I took my Tim Holtz Distress Crayon and rubbed on them to give them kind of a patinaed look. And I'm going to put these on the corners of this particular page. It's kind of like this. Just kind of give it some more character. So this one's still in the thought process, but it's getting there. I'm not sure if this one is going to be, this one may be an actual regular journal with a sewn-in signature, because my intention is to do a bunch of single signature journals that I can get out quickly, that that people can use during the holidays for gratitude journals, or thankful journals, or prayer journals, or because a lot of people like to do daily gratitude during November for Thanksgiving and things like that. And so I'd like for them to have something special to do that in. So anyway, yeah, I did a little bit of sewing, not a lot, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and I think this is going to be a real cute little journal as well. And I have another pocket, so we may do another one if this one comes out good. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. And again, I'm really excited about this one. I think this is going to be super cute, and it's going to be something kind of different. I saw the original idea for this. I mean, of course, it's not just like this, but I saw someone use these long flashcards. It was on Pinterest and from a long time ago, and she got the idea from a Somerset catalog, or Somerset magazine, that was even older than that. So I loved the way that looked, and so I wanted to do my kind of take on it. So I think it's going to be a fun one, and I think it's going to end up really cute. So enough jabbering. I hope you all enjoyed that, and thanks guys for subscribing. And if you're new, welcome, and please hit the subscribe and the bell, and you'll be notified when I release the next video. And until then, everybody be safe, be healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.